everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Imaginary Boys. I am one of your beautiful, sexy, hot, delicious, tasty hosts with a cherry on top, Mr. Habanero. And I have my secondary, sexy, beautiful, delicious host with a banana split and a side of chocolate sauce, Mr. Lettuce. How are you doing, Mr. Lettuce?
You know, I don't actually like banana splits.
That's too bad. They're delicious.
I mean, I get it. It's just, I don't know, they're just way too sloppy.
One of the things of why I really like banana splits is because you usually get like really creamy sweet ice cream with a banana split. And like the banana, unless it's like overly grossly ripe, it's got like just a slight sour tang to it. So it really contrasts well with the ice cream. So that's
Oh
why I like
yeah,
it.
like you have to use a slightly green banana with a banana split
Yeah.
because otherwise it gets gross. But no, my problem is like all the toppings
Mm-hmm.
turn it into just like a real sloppy mess, and the little boat that they put the banana splits in is almost never enough.
Mm. I mean, a lot of because I used to work at a place that served banana splits on very rare occasions, and we used to just use really large bowls because they would be so messy. We didn't have like the specialty banana split dishes, which are like tins, right? They're like boat shaped, kind of like metal tins, aren't they?
Yeah, they look like urinal trays uh that they give to hospital patients.
Yeah, yeah. You can have your banana split and piss in it too.
Yeah, no, so like I like the idea of a banana split.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of banana and ice cream.
Mm.
Like
Like banana
don't over
slices? Have you ever had banana slices on top of ice cream?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Actually,
Yeah.
like I would prefer it if it was that way. Like give me like two different scoops of ice cream in a bowl, put some
Oh,
banana slices on it. Um
and like hot peanut butter sauce on the top. Ooh.
hot peanut butter sauce and maybe a little bit of hot fudge. But this is where people go way wrong with banana splits.
Mm-hmm.
Way too much on the hot fudge and hot or peanut sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Like at that point, you're kind of eating a milkshake.
I guess kinda. Like I can get that. I used to go to God, where was it that I went to? Oh, Cold Stone Creamery.
Yeah, Cold
And
Stone's pretty nice.
oh, they used to like the thing that I loved about Cold Stone Creamery is they would have like you could get like extra toppings which they would charge you extra for each one you put on, but they
Yeah.
would have like molten hot peanut butter sauce, but it wouldn't be like that fake bullshit like sugary peanut butter sauce. It was full blown like molten hot like rich, nutty peanut butter sauce.
Baskin
And
Robbins uses a Reese's sauce that tastes like the Reese's peanut butter.
yeah, but that's like really sugary, Like I kind of liked the peanut butter sauce that was like not super duper sugary in flavor. Like there's probably still a buttload of sugar in the peanut butter sauce, but it wasn't like in your face sugary like how Reese's peanut butter sauce is. Um
I mean, if I'm eating a dessert, I like it to be rich.
well, sure, yeah. I mean, but like you can get that with like molten hot peanut butter that doesn't have a super strong sugary taste. Um but yeah, man. Oh, that sounds so good, man. I wish I could make myself a peanut butter sundae right now. What have I done?
Yeah,
Oh.
I might grab one tomorrow. Go to
Well, I mean,
Baskin Robbins because Baskin Robbins makes a pretty good peanut butter sundae.
I bet they do. I haven't had Baskin Robbins in so long. Usually, what I do is I go to Walmart and I buy like Walmart brand ice cream, which is actually surprisingly good and cheap. And you know, okay, I gotta ask you if you've ever tried this because this is something that I love is and a lot of people are gonna think this is pretty weird. Have you ever had vanilla ice cream, preferably vanilla bean? Vanilla bean is like the best. Have you ever had like vanilla ice cream where you pour just a teeny tiny, like not too much, just a little teeny tiny splash of soy sauce on top of it? Have you ever done that?
No, but I could see where that would be awesome in vanilla, like Breyer's vanilla bean.
Yeah.
Like
It's really good. It's like eating like a salted caramel.
like a low sodium Kinko Man,
Mhm.
and not a lot, like just a couple of drops.
Literally like less than half a spoonful.
Yeah, just a
Like
couple of drops.
yeah. And like it really just makes the sweet flavor of the vanilla ice cream just really pop. It's like people who like salt watermelon, you know?
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm also kind of a fan of soy sauce.
Yeah, it's
Like
super good.
I've never tried it, but I can see where I could definitely feel where it would be good.
Mhm.
Um, I'm the idiot who takes microwave popcorn and tosses a like 2 tablespoons of soy sauce in my microwave popcorn.
I have never tried that, but that actually sounds really good. I would so try that. That sounds awesome.
Like it
Like,
doesn't make it too soggy.
yeah, that sounds great. I love weird food combinations. I'm all about that lifestyle, man. Definitely. Oh. But despite all we did a whole food episode last time and we really wanted to get into
Food too, electric boogaloo.
yeah. I mean, I guess I could go ahead and give an update real fast. The air fryer has been treating me super nicely, so it's been wonderful.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
You washed your shit
yeah,
and now won't have toxic cancer in your food.
exactly. I have not like I did actually wash out my air fryer 5 times, like I did with the espresso machine before using it, and not a single piece of food that I've made has tasted like plastic or toxic or anything like at all. Not a little bit. So I think I
Congrats.
did good there.
Make you some cheese sticks.
I've been making grilled cheese in the air fryer, which is really good. Um, I first started with a sharp cheddar, and I was like, "That's a little strong." And then I switched over to a Havarti, and I'm like, "That's a little weak." So now I got to find something in the middle between sharp cheddar and Havarti. So,
Uh, Kojak with brie.
ooh, brie. Gee, all right. Let me pinkies out. Jesus, pinkies out with a top hat and monocle. Jesus Christ. Any preferred kind of bread that you like to use?
I mean, like I'm a big fan of sourdough.
Ooh, I did think about doing sourdough. I've been doing like sweetbreads of like not actual sweetbreads, but I mean like a sweeter bread. Like I used a honey and milk and
Okay.
also a I think it was called like country butter or something like that.
Okay.
And they're pretty good, but they're very, very mild. And I think you're right. A sourdough would probably be better.
Probably.
Yeah.
Do you toast with? Do you? I guess in the air fryer it doesn't really matter. Uh, but do you use mayo or butter to build your toast?
Ooh. So if it's okay, that's actually really interesting because there are some people who don't know about that secret. Um, if
I know
you,
about the secret. I know about the secret.
yeah, I know.
I still use butter.
Yeah. So if it's in the air fryer, I'm using butter. But if I was pan frying a grilled cheese, which I've done many, many times in a restaurant I used to work at, if I was pan frying a grilled cheese, mayo every time. Every time. It comes out perfect. But in the air fryer, butter for sure.
I'm I'm fine with the little burny bits.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the butter tastes better.
Yeah. Yeah.
That night I don't keep mayo. I use Miracle Whip for everything else.
Oh. I have not used Miracle Whip in a long time. I recall that it has kind of a sweet and sour taste to it, but I
Yeah,
recall that that's pretty good. Like not saying anything bad about that. It's just I haven't needed to use Miracle Whip because most of the time I just buy mayo. So
right.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, this is totally not a food episode.
No, it's not. It's not. I just wanted to give a quick update on that. We're all up in the gaming sphere today, boys and girls. That's what that's the
we
lifestyle we're
we
living today.
have we have the video games.
Yeah. Uh, Lettuce in particular was really excited to tell me all about the Pokemon Legends Arceus, and also Nintendo had a direct. Was it today or yesterday?
This afternoon.
This afternoon. So it was in fact today. Okay.
Yeah, was that just a couple hours ago?
Yeah, I watched it, but I didn't watch it live, so I wasn't sure how old it was.
Yep, this afternoon.
All right. So, what do you want to go over first? Do you want to spiel about Arceus, or do you want to spiel about the direct?
Well, you being a big Pokemon fan,
Sure, I love me some
probably
Pokemans.
probably more of a Pokemon fan than I have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had like I figured I could you could ask me a couple of questions about certain things
Mm-hmm.
and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Then I'll go off of like what I've gone through in the game.
Okay. I can think of a question right away that I was curious to know more about. Is there death in this game?
No.
Okay, I kind of figured that would be the answer, but
Well, I mean, so no. But I mean, did we really expect her to be death in this game?
I mean, no, but there was like definitely like a hope that it could happen, especially with Snorlax giving you the gigantic love snuggle, you know. So
Okay, so I have yet to have my player character pass out.
okay, so it's like really easy.
Kinda. It's really easy to avoid being in a position to where to be in a position to avoid getting knocked the heck out.
All right.
First of all, the big Snorlax that you saw
Mm-hmm.
in all the trailers,
Yeah.
it's a very it's in a very common early area place.
Okay. Because Snorlax has always been a very common Pokemon that you can just get all willy nilly all the time. He's always been that way.
Yeah. Uh
It's not like he's rare or anything.
yeah, no. He's really hard to catch until you get towards the end of the beginning game.
Sure.
But I don't know what it is, but Snorlax has like arm length eyesight, and that's about it.
Oh,
So you could literally just walk around his fat ass, and he'll never see you.
okay. All right. Does that imply that like all the Pokemon have different varieties of like sight ranges and stuff like that? Like when you pull aggro?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like some Pokemon have very low, have very low sight lines.
Mm-hmm.
Some Pokemon can see you from halfway across the map.
All right, man.
Um, if you do get a Pokemon that aggroes you, hop on your worder and make with the zoomy zooms.
Worder?
The regional evolution of Stantler.
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah,
Sure.
he is your noble steed in this game.
All right.
And if you get on top of him and you dash away, it is really easy to break aggro. And unlike a lot of games where if something aggroes you, it will chase you down to the end of the map.
Okay.
Yeah, these Pokemon don't do that.
All right.
They give up about as instantly as anything in any other game I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, another thing too that I feel like that I should probably keep in mind, and all of us should probably keep in mind, these games are for kids. Like, there's no getting around that. So it makes sense that they were like gonna, make it easy to,
Yeah,
not
there's
lose or die or whatever.
have you ever gone in Skyrim and just carried an aggro train behind you for what felt like miles upon miles?
Actually, yes.
I
It's
mean,
very annoying sometimes.
I've seen you. I mean, I guess I have seen you play. What's the other one? The one before Skyrim, Oblivion.
I've played New
I've used to
Vegas.
watch. I used to watch your Oblivion streams,
Oh yeah, yeah. Those were pretty. Those would be pretty brutal
and I've
sometimes.
seen you do the turn tail and bravely run away, and and everything would just form a train trying to get a piece of your tasty gams.
It's true. Man, sometimes I miss those Oblivion playthroughs. They were ridiculous.
Yeah,
uh,
this game doesn't do that.
all right.
If something has aggro on you, other things will not aggro on you. Uh, if something aggroes, if something aggroes you and you go into combat with it,
Yeah.
it might bring its friends along. So there are some times where you end up in a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 battle,
Right.
but you know,
So they won't like take turns, like in other words, like get in line one at a time to fight. Like sometimes there'll be like two or three of them that are like, let's gang up on this bat, like this
yeah,
guy.
yeah. If you've got a Pokemon that's notorious for being in groups and uh, challenging you to 3-on-1 battles, is a Driftbloom.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, at
that's
night.
interesting.
Yeah, like they're usually in like group. Like sometimes they're in groups of two, sometimes they're in groups of three. If one has aggro on you, the other ones have line of sight on you,
Hmm.
and if they see you enter into combat, they'll typically just join in. So
Like a herd mentality kind of thing. Like they're
yeah,
protecting one another. That's kind of cool, actually.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you got to prepare yourself for a 3-on-1, but you know, Pokemon games now tell you, what moves are super effective and which ones are ineffective and stuff like that.
Oh
It's
yeah,
straight.
that's right.
It's,
Baby mode. I forgot they started doing that.
yeah, it's now
Yeah.
just standard practice to have baby mode.
Yeah. I remember because that was a thing in was it Oraz that they first introduced it, or was it Sun and Moon where they first introduced that? Where like they would let you know, like you would click on the move and it would
It,
be
it
like,
was it
this will
was
be
Sun Moon.
super effective, or this won't be effective.
Yeah, it's Sun and Moon because Sun and Moon came before Oraz.
Man, I remember when I used to think I was so cool because I memorized the entire type chart and like,
Yeah,
but now it's just like, no, they just tell you. It's fine. But I
yeah,
mean, I guess that's oh,
get
sorry.
bent, nerd.
Yeah, yeah.
Spend all your life remembering the game of rock paper scissors that is Pokemon, only to have Pokemon produce a chart now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in all seriousness, like I mean, I think overall it was probably the better choice because let's face it, it's like, you know, you're not good at this game because you don't have the entire 16 by 16 type chart memorized. What's wrong with you, asshole? Like it's like,
Yeah,
come on, man. Like, I
yeah,
think it was a good move.
no, it's a good move because to be perfectly honest, if they ever want to go to 18 by 18,
Maybe, but
um,
god, I don't know.
like if they want to go 18 by 18 with that type chart, it was going to get
Yeah.
hairy to expect new players to memorize that.
Well, and I mean, and even if you memorize the 16 by 16 chart, you then have to be like, well, what about dual typing resistances? And that's like what, like another 32 or 48 like things you have to
Yeah, it's
memorize or
18
something
by
like
now you have an 18 by 18 by 18 chart.
yeah, man. like
We're playing 40 chess with a game of rock paper scissors lizard Spock.
yeah. You're like, what? I thought this was weak. Like, I thought steel type was weak to this. And it's like, oh, well, normally it is, but this is steel fairy. And you forgot about all the resistances of fairy, which work in this way when combined with steel. And you're just like, listen here, asshole. like, it's like, I'm 12 years old, and what is this?
Yeah, it's like uh so you're just sitting around going around a beach beating up on weasels. And then this random Gastrodon comes up and your Luxray's like, "Oh.
it's
Uh
water type. This'll be fine, right?
bite. Yeah, bite. I'm going to use bite." Yeah, because
yes.
I forgot about Gastrodon's ground type,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Well,
Thunderfang, and it's like this has no effect, and I'm like, why do I keep forgetting that Gastrodon is a water ground type? Yeah, it's like okay, I guess the fact that I'm 20 levels ahead of you and I have a dark bite that we'll just do
Yeah.
that.
Luxray, tackle. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, that's this. I still like the idea that, like I said, like it's nice that they have like the letting you know what's super effective and what's not super effective. I think it's interesting that they have the like you would fight against multiple of them at the same time, because that takes me back to Oraz, because they had they would do like the 6 versus 1 battles in Oraz, which was really cool. Um, so you would use like Sweet Scent, and you would get like a 6-on-1 battle like every single fight, which I thought was really cool. And like I think that it's really cool how in like that concept is cool, but it's even more interesting knowing that it's like free roam live action like combat. It's not like turn based, right?
Oh no! It turns into a turn-based combat system. It's still
Really?
using the turn-based combat system. It just
Really? I
yeah,
thought it was all live action.
it is.
Oh.
It is until you throw out a Pokemon.
So in other words, like they make it live action, but then the moment that the battle actually starts, it goes into the classic like turn-based style of like previous main franchise games.
It uses it uses that combat system, but it doesn't flash it into like a battle arena. So you're kind of in the so you still have the turns, and
Yeah.
they've changed the way it works slightly to where speed actually matters.
Well, I mean, speed has always kind of mattered,
Okay,
but I know
so
what you mean.
speed
I know what you mean.
so speed only so speed only really mattered to as to who goes first.
Yeah.
Now speed matters as to who goes first and gets an additional attack.
Oh, that is actually interesting.
Yeah, so if you're playing if you got a slow Pokemon and you're up against a really fast Pokemon,
You can double tap something.
no, you're probably going to get double. You're probably going to get triple tapped.
Wow, that's crazy.
I've been
That's
I've I've been
yeah.
triple tapped before.
That
Those
sucks.
those alpha Pokemon are not joking around.
See, so my ideal, like what I thought this was going to be like, because now like you're telling me it's like turn based and all that. What I thought this would be like is I've talked about how many times that Final Fantasy 12 is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games, even though people would probably be more than happy to tell me how wrong I am about that. It's not my number one favorite, but it is one of my favorites of all time. One of the things that I loved about Final Fantasy 12 is how they did live action combat in that game, where all your attacks were based on cooldowns and timers. So, like, it kind of, in a sense, is turn based, but it's not so much turn based. It's like live action timers, and then when your timer bar fills up, you attack, and then over time.
It's a modification of the Chrono Trigger active battle system.
Okay, so then
That's
I've never.
that's what it was.
That's fine. I've never played Chrono Trigger before, so I wouldn't know.
Man,
Um,
your gamer cred just got revoked.
Oh, whatever. I don't give a shit. It's fine. There's plenty of wonderful, fantastic masterpiece games out there that I haven't played in my life. Um,
Yeah,
but
but you're an anime dweeb who loves RPGs.
I mean, yeah, but it's not like I've played like every, greatly claimed, RPG of all time. Like I haven't played every Final Fantasy game ever made.
I mean,
Um,
not. I mean, most people haven't,
yeah, I haven't, I've definitely not.
they've all definitely played Chrono Trigger.
I've never played a single Chrono Trigger game. I've never played like any of those games.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
That's okay. I don't feel bad about it. Whatever.
I
But
mean,
anyways,
you will once you actually play it.
yeah, we'll see. Whatever. It's fine. But and I mean that's a thing where it's probably like better late than never. So I mean I wouldn't care. Um,
Absolutely.
But the thing is that I liked about Final Fantasy 12 and how their battle system was is that like you could walk around the stadium, like walk around the battlefield, which was all in the main map. Like so like you would start a combat and they wouldn't switch you into another screen like an arena. You would still be in the main map. And then you could like position yourself to like flank the target. So like hitting them from the side, it's kind of like how they did it in tactics, where hitting them from the sides or the back would deal more damage or give you an advantage. So you could slowly, while charging an attack, try to position yourself into a better spot before you hit them. And then they're also trying to get themselves into an advantageous spot while their attack is charging as well. And then as you grow in your stats and levels and skills, you can become faster. Some of your attacks will charge faster than others so that maybe you could attack twice or three times, like you said. So I was
Right.
kind of like hoping
Oh,
that
here.
this game would end up like that, you
Okay,
know,
so you can move around the map freely
while in
during
combat.
while in combat.
Okay, so it is kind of
You
like
you can position yourself behind behind the enemy Pokemon so that when you give the attack commands to your Pokemon,
right.
it looks like you're smacking the shit out of your out of the enemy Pokemon.
That's kind of cool though, but that's like what we want.
Because you know how like the attack command looks like a backhand.
Uh
You could literally sit next. You could literally stand behind the enemy Pokemon and then give an attack command, and it looks like you're backhanding the other Pokemon right in the back of the head.
do you look like you're slapping those cheeks around?
Yeah, you do look like you're clapping them cheeks.
That's so hot.
Um,
Man, I'm sure that's going to give many Pokemon fan fiction writers plenty of material to write about.
if if a move is particularly violent and you are standing too close to your Pokemon,
You
you will
get
be not
recoil?
you will get knocked down too.
That's cool.
It does absolutely nothing. If you move into your Pokemon will like get out of your way.
So like that's actually but that's like really cool. Like see that is like the kind of thing that Pokemon fans in general have wanted, like
It
live
has
action combat. Like
it has no sway or difference in the actual combat itself. But
but it's
the
like
scenes
splash damage, right?
no, in the middle of a combat, like uh so you could potentially faint from receiving too much damage.
Right.
If you are standing next to your Pokemon and it eats a Pikachu Thunderbolt, you can take splash damage. Your water Pokemon can get one hit knocked out,
Okay.
and it doesn't indicate any damage to you. So in the middle of the Pokemon battle, you have you're basically in God mode, which lets you walk behind the enemy Pokemon all nonchalantly. You can take all the time in the world because it's still a turn based system to position yourself for the cheek clapping stance.
So, do you and your Pokemon move individually,
No,
or okay?
no, your Pokemon, you throw your Pokemon at your opponent, at the opponent.
You pick them up and toss them, right?
Yeah, you huck your ball, you huck your ball at their face.
Sure.
The Pokemon then releases at some random direction. They both face each other, and they're kind of locked in that position. Then you just kind of walk around the combat. You can
Oh, see, I
you
was completely misunderstanding. I was assuming that like the Pokemon could like walk
oh
around
oh yeah,
and
no, it's
like
just you.
position itself in a
It's just
better
you.
spot.
You can leave the range of the battle, and it's an always successful run.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think even if you hit run always succeeded. It's just then you have to hop on your Worder and make with the zoomy zooms.
Hmm.
Yeah, running doesn't fail in this game.
Okay.
Which, take it or leave it, I guess.
It's whatever. I don't. I mean, fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um.
So no. The actual combatants are locked in their, face to face thing. You have free roam around that combat.
So does that mean, because you're talking about clapping cheeks, does that mean that you can actually, like, your Pokemon can deal damage, but so can you?
No.
Oh, okay.
You have no way of dealing. You have no way of dealing damage to a Pokemon.
Huh. I mean, I guess that would probably be a bad look for Pokemon. Like, yeah, I savagely beat Pokemon with my bare fists. It's whatever. Like,
Yeah, I walked up to the Shinx and just kind of clapped its cheeks.
so then your Pokemon can get behind another Pokemon and deal damage from behind. Then,
No,
like, right? Oh,
the
huh.
Pokemon are always front facing each other.
Hmm.
The way that you get a bonus is if you catch a Pokemon unawares, when you hit them with your Pokeball, and you've got to hit them in the Pokeball in the back of the head.
Right. Wait, the
Uh,
back of the head? So, like, the only way to get a successful catch is for you to actually,
no, no,
at
no.
some point.
No, 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 no. This we're not talking about successful catch.
Oh, okay.
Um, uh, and I'll get back to catching, and we'll put a pin on catching Pokemon, and double back on it. The only way to get to get, if you do what's called a back strike, which is where you hit the Pokemon in the rear, back of
Sure.
the head or butt or whatever is available.
Sure.
Just not in the, you know 325-degree cone. That's, the not the 25-degree cone that it's butt. Um,
Okay. Thank you for
if you if
specifying.
Yeah, if you hit it in the side, you don't get a back strike. You don't get a back strike. If you hit it, sides, front, whatever, you don't catch them unawares.
But if the Pokemon are statically standing in one position, then how would you get a backstrike? Like you said, they're always front facing, right?
Okay, so if you hit them in the back strike, the Pokemon go into kind of a dazed animation in the middle in the combat, and you basically get two free cracks at them,
Okay.
which is probably the easiest way to take down an alpha.
So what would you have to do to be able to position your monster to get behind them in the first place to do that?
You don't position your monster to get behind them. You throw your monster to the back. You throw the Pokeball with your Pokemon at the back of their head.
Oh, okay. So
You throw the
so you
Pokemon.
throw the Pokemon out to initiate combat. You do it from behind them,
Yeah,
and then you
yeah,
get a free strike
yeah. You
from
get
the
like
beginning.
two free cracks at them.
Okay, okay, okay. I get the idea because I
Yeah,
have played a game that's like that where like you would initiate combat, but like you can like sneak up from behind them before you initiate the combat, and then that would get you like a bonus attack. I've seen games do that before. Okay,
yeah.
okay,
It's very
now I
basic.
understand.
Yeah, it's very basic. It's the way to. It's the cheap and easy way to apply flanking logic or flanking tactics. It gives a game some tactical nuance
Yeah.
where there otherwise wouldn't be.
It just like really disappoints me because like I said, like I brought up Final Fantasy 12. Like I said, I don't have any experience with Chrono Trigger, but like Final Fantasy 12 had a whole combat system, free roaming on the map. Like, you can position yourself in all sorts of different ways. You could run to different sides of the maps and have them follow you while you're still mid combat. And like you could be faster and like why can't they just like that game is so old. Like like it's so easy for them to like do something like that,
Yeah, this is Game Freak we're talking about.
Yeah, which is why I stopped playing Pokemon games. I know.
This is Game Freak we're talking about.
It's all
The
the same
the
shit.
them giving us control over the camera is, they're made, you know getting use of the camera
Yeah.
in a third of the game for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Not even a third of the game, like a quarter of the game.
Yeah.
was their big step. We got free roaming camera the whole game this game, and it feels pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's
I,
it's one baby step forward, two baby steps back with Game Freak. So this combat system is basically Final Fantasy 12, except for instead of having moves with the active weight system like Final Fantasy 12, Tactics, Final Fantasy 7, and Chrono Trigger.
it's just like Final Fantasy 12, except without all the wonderful things that made Final Fantasy 12 so great.
Yeah, it's Final Fantasy 12 without the ripoff of A New Hope. Because I mean,
Oh man.
if we want to go back to that argument, Final Fantasy 12 was just a retelling of A New Hope.
I mean, I love that game. Like I understand it gets a lot of hate, but I love Final. But the thing is that most of my love for Final Fantasy 12 is more on the side of the actual gameplay, which also people have various problems with. But like, I mean, I thought the story was pretty good for Final Fantasy 12.
I
Like, I
mean,
really do. But
Final Fantasy 12 was trying to port an MMO combat system to a single player offline RPG, and it didn't really work that well for it.
well, listen, I loved the live action combat in Final Fantasy 12. I remember when I first played as a kid, I thought that it was mind blowingly good. Like, I was like, you mean I can play a Final Fantasy game and not everything is based on like, is not turn based, and like I can actually roam the map while I'm in mid combat? Like, that was some mind blowing shit to me when I was a kid, dude. Like,
Yeah, like you just outed yourself as having a very limited gaming experience as a kid.
well, so because you keep mentioning Chrono Trigger, and I have no experience with Chrono Trigger whatsoever.
Chrono Trigger.
Were you able to roam the Chrono Trigger? Like, did Chrono Trigger have an open map that you could roam around while you were in the middle of combat? Was that a thing that game
No,
did?
no.
Then why are you saying that it's the same thing?
The active. I'm talking about the pseudo turn based
Where
active
you have
time
like
system.
timers and cooldowns and stuff?
Yeah, because Final
Okay.
Fantasy 7 did the same thing too.
Yeah, I know that. But like when I was originally bringing up Final Fantasy 12, it was a combination of not only the combat mechanics based on timers, but also like walking around your opponents to get the better angle, like roaming the map to like, bring the monsters out into a more advantageous area.
I don't know.
Like,
I played enough. I played enough MMOs to where that just didn't excite me anymore.
all right. I mean, I even remember there's one map I remember so clearly in Final Fantasy 12 where you're in like a desert area, and there's a spot where you have to like go and fight a monster that's up on a sand dune, and you run up the sand dune to fight that specific monster, and he jumps down to the bottom of the sand dune, and when you follow in after initiating combat, he leads you into an ambush of a bunch of other monsters where it's like 6 or 7 of them, and they all just try to like ambush you all at once.
Yeah,
Like, and I thought that was so cool. Like, I don't know, because like you can use the environment to your advantage in that game, but so can the monsters, and that was like so cool to me.
Yeah,
And I mean,
that fight was bullshit because you could clear that entire because I knew that was coming, so I went around and cleared like trash mobs.
yeah, I did the same thing after they killed me the first time. I was like, bruh, that.
he still summons trash mobs.
Yeah, he does. We're talking about the Nightshade fight, right? Because that's what that was.
The Nightshade fight.
Yeah,
he still summons trash mobs.
Yeah, he does.
F that fight. Bastard. So anyway, back to the Pokemon.
Goddamn Nightshade.
So catching Pokemon feels really good. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, yeah. Isn't it kind of like Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee?
It feels way better in this game than it did for Let's Go. Like, you don't have the motion control thing where you throw the ball, but that was dumb. But what you have is sneaky stealth.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these little, because there's like catching a Pokemon, it's like if it's catching a Pokemon, one that doesn't like to be caught very well, I
Right.
mean, there's some Pokemons that just roll over and take it, like your Bidoofs. Um,
I just kind of like imagine like a Bidoof like getting hit by the ball, and like he's like standing straight up, and like even before the ball like tries to catch him, when the ball hits him in the face, he just kind of like tips over and gives up.
no, no, no. What the Bidoofs in this game does, they see you. Like they indicate that they see you, so they kind of acknowledge that they see something.
Sure.
They kind of just then they just kind of turn around and present.
Take me now, senpai.
Yeah, pretty much. And here's what this game does beautifully. So one of the tutorial missions is catch a Bidoof, catch a Starly, and catch a Shanks.
So basically all of like the, you know, trash mob Route 1 Pokemon.
Yeah, this is your Trash Mob Route 1 Pokemon. The Bidoof is the catch the Pokemon that wants to be caught.
Okay. Please, somebody take me, please.
Catch the Pokemon that is so like jittery and nervous that it will run away at the mere creak of a potential fart.
Sounds like Starly.
Yeah, no, it's Starly. And then catch the Pokemon that really wants to nibble your feet.
Okay.
And that's, Shanks.
Probably, yeah.
Shanks is just stupid aggressive.
Yeah.
It's Shanks is the Pokemon, is one of the Pokemon that will see you from halfway across the map and instantly aggro you.
Yeah, it'll want to nibble your nuggies.
Yeah, it's like let me have them nuggies. So it walks up to you, and then you throw a partner Pokemon at it.
Yeah.
And you
hope to God that you didn't pick the water type, right?
Yeah, your part, like, yeah. Did you pick Oshawott? Well, I mean, hope that Bidoof you caught does a good job. And then you fight it and then catch it. And this is where I think the game kind of falls flat. Because in combat catching doesn't feel nearly as good as stealth hunting.
Okay.
You know how throughout our entire lives in Pokemon, we were taught don't go into the tall grass. The tall grass is dangerous.
Yeah.
Because, there might be a 300-foot tall onyx in that tall grass.
Sure.
And you know how we get our cover in Legends Arceus? Go into crouch mode in some tall grass. We're the dangerous ones in the tall grass now, mofo.
I am the
tables have turned.
The turns have tabled. Just looking like a sketch bag stalking through the grass. Like,
yeah, but I can't say enough how good the, like, once you get past the first part of the game and you have to you unlock some tools and you have all these tools at your disposal and you're like, man, I really want this Abra. But
good luck.
But if this Abra sees me, and this Abra will see you from like miles away.
Sure.
And the second he sees you, he's like, "Hi, I saw you." Deuces.
Yeah.
After
all these years since 1996, Abra is still a douchebag.
Yeah. So you see this Abra and it's like deuces, but then you get smoke bombs and you're like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna ride smoke bombs to this Abra."
Oh, okay.
And then catching Abras isn't so hard anymore.
Yeah, but I feel like I mean, good, like legitimately good, but at the same time, like it feels like it ruins the novelty of what Abra always was from the very beginning, You
mean a teleporting cunt?
Yeah. But that's like the point. Like that's what Abra was always meant to be. Like he's supposed, because I mean, come on, man. Like Alakazam is like always been one of the most powerful Pokemon of all time in the OG games. So like, yeah, of course, like Abra's gonna be a little piece of shit and fly off into space whenever he sees you, you know?
Yeah,
So
no, that's what he does, and then you turn the tables with your smoke bombs. And the thing is you don't get smoke bombs until you don't
way
get smoke
later.
bombs that you don't get access to smoke bombs until after you beat the first boss.
Do you feel like that it's possible to catch Abra without smoke bombs?
Yes, sometimes they're not looking in your direction.
Okay. It's good to know that there's at least some kind of chance to that. You know, like it's like if you really do it just right, like you could do it, which is kind of like how Abra was in the original games. Like it's like, well, you could do it just right, you know?
If he teleports in, not looking in your direction, and you have access to the wing ball,
Mhm.
then yeah, you have a chance.
Neat. I did notice from watching a preview because you brought up a weird ball that I've never heard of. I did notice in one of the previews that I saw for the game, there are apricorns.
Oh yeah,
Apricorns are a
yeah,
thing.
yeah. No, no. I mistook. I
That's
thought
okay. Well, no, you basically said that you weren't sure, if I remember correctly, if they were in the game or not. Like
no,
that's what I remember.
I no. I said I wasn't sure if that's what they were using to make the Pokeballs, but no, yeah, it's they're apricorn balls.
Yeah, that's cool. That's OG, man. Like that's like straight out of Gold and Silver. I like that, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's apricorn. It's apricorn balls.
Nice.
See, I thought there was wood
Mm-hmm.
because I knew wood was a crafting item in iron. And I thought I saw wood and iron made a Pokeball or something. I was
Okay.
wrong. It's apricorn plus something called a tumblestone.
Interesting.
Red tumblestone makes normal Pokeballs, or the ultra, and what's the blue one? What's the blue with the red stripe?
What do you mean?
The blue Pokeball with the red stripe, the
You're talking
second Mega
about
Ball.
great balls?
Yeah, yeah, Great Balls. I don't know why I
Yeah.
keep forgetting Great Ball.
Yeah, the great balls are blue with the two red stripes on the right and
Yeah.
left.
So
Yeah.
the red Tumblestone makes the normal Pokeball, the Great Ball, the Ultra Ball.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's no Master Ball because Sylph doesn't exist yet.
So that's also something else I was curious about is because it seems like as if like this is supposed to be a story of the past, right? So like
Yeah,
it is there technology based on science fiction or is it like a magic kind of thing? Like, is it just like, oh, our Pokeballs work because it's magic? Or is it like, our Pokeballs work because it's still science fiction?
our Pokeballs work because the Pokemon voluntarily microsize themselves and get into our balls.
Is that actually what it is? Because that sounds like it's just straight up magic then. So they went the
Yeah,
magic route.
yeah. They
Because,
went
like,
well. They went into this is what the Pokemon do.
okay.
That's because apparently the Pokeballs don't microrize the Pokemon. The Pokemon get hit with the Pokeball, and then they kind of just they trigger their own get small defense.
I'm choosing to do
Yeah,
this.
this is consensual. And then
Well,
they get in, and then they get in there, and they're like, "Psych!" And then they break out.
or they stay in and they're like, well, this is my life now.
They gotta get in there, like, "I'm your problem."
I just kind of like have like a lot of these really funny ideas that we talk about. I always imagine Bidoof is like the main Pokemon of choice. So like
Yeah,
for example, when you were telling me about stalking through the grass, like being the stalker in the grass, my first thought was you're stalking through the grass and like you sneak up on a Bidoof and the Bidoof like realizes you're behind him, but he's like, oh, I sure need to bend over to pick up this berry. I sure hope I'm not taken advantage from behind. Oh me, oh my, I'm so sensitive right now, and I sure hope a trainer doesn't come from behind and try to catch me. But like, so I keep like coming up every time you describe this game, I'm imagining these ridiculous scenarios, specifically with Bidoof because he's so perfect for it. So like
and
when you
Bidoof is that generation's trash Pokemon.
he's the perfect meme Pokemon, to be honest. But
I
one
don't know.
of
I think a bet like I can think of better like Route One trash Pokemon as being Pokemons, but Bidoof is a close second.
Yeah, he's just like he's got that face that's like so perfect for like a lot of the scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I thought of, like I thought of that one earlier for the stalking, I just didn't bring it up until now. But the other one I was thinking of when you said like, and then they choose to minimize, and this is consensual. Like I just have this image of like Bidoof like morphing his body into like a fleshy minimized mass. Like with like a little like a fleshy
I,
ball of fur, and like the only distinguishable feature that he has anymore is
is his
like
teeth?
his face, his stupid face.
No, just his teeth.
Yeah, like his little beady ass eyes, and his like he has like a little pink nose, right? And like
Yeah.
his stupid buck teeth, and like it's like the Pokeball shell isn't even
I
around him.
choose. I choose this for myself.
I loved your first statement. This is consensual.
Yeah. So
Oh,
so
man.
yeah, that's how this works. And you have a cell phone.
Sure.
So spoilers, I guess, for people who haven't played the game. This is explained. This is kind of explained in the opening cutscene.
So
Apparently,
hold on. I just gotta say, they were willing to go the magic route for Pokeballs, but they went the science fiction route for cell phones.
okay, you are the only person who has a cell phone.
All right, man. Well, I mean, I figured that there would be multiple people with cell phones if they were going
No,
to give you a cell phone.
You are the only person who has that. So here's the premise of the story. You are just a boy wearing a Pokemon shirt who may or may not be from a universe where Pokemon do exist.
Are you like a? Are you supposed to be like somebody who traveled through space and time? Is that what you're hinting at here?
Arceus literally rips you from your home and your
So,
time, says, "Hey, kid, I'm Arceus. Good luck."
so Arceus isekai'd you, basically.
Yeah, basically. So he transports you like across whatever galaxy and back in time,
Sure.
but leaves you with your cell phone that he transformed into an Arceus phone that conveniently has map data for the Sui region.
Sure. I mean, what's the problem?
Oh no, that's how they explain that. That's how they can explain that that you have an obvious cell phone. When you get shame walked through the village for the first time, like everybody's like, "Who's that weirdo? Look at the way he's dressed. Ew." I'm like, I mean, this feels good.
What was that? There's an anime that Mike loves. Like he loves talking about it every once in a while. And I also saw it for myself, and I thought it was okay. And it's literally an isekai of like a kid who he gets reincarnated into a fantasy world, and the god of the world is just like, so like I can give you anything you may desire to make sure that you are comfortable and powerful within this, fantasy world. What is it that I can provide you? And he's just like, can I just keep my cell phone? Like, can I do that? Can I still have like all the functions and operations of my normal cell phone and just use it in this fantasy world for whatever I want that you would use a cell phone for? And the god's just like, yeah, sure. Why the hell not? Like, so
There you go.
yeah. So like, this is basically that anime, but like Pokemon form.
Yeah. Well, no, the cell phone, all the cell phone could do is keep track of your missions and requests, and gives you a map of the region.
But like, here's the thing: is because it sounds like they were like, okay, well, we have this cell phone mechanic that we've put into the game, right? So we got to make sure that the plot of the game, makes sense for you having that cell phone mechanic, right? So let's just go ahead and turn the game into an isekai anime, and it'll all make sense. And it's like, but why not just give the main character like a map and like why not just give the main character like a quest log, like a notebook that
Yeah.
they can like write in, and why not like
Here's a funny thing: your Pokedex,
uh-huh
your Pokedex is 100% a notebook.
yeah, it's still it's like wait, like like that's
You've
great.
got
That's
you've got
so
this
good.
you got the cell phone that could definitely hold a Pokedex. Like I'm holding a Pokedex in my hand right now.
Yeah.
But no. Arceus didn't seem fit to give you a Pokedex apps. So now you gotta press a different button to get into your Pokedex.
So you know what it kind of feels like a little bit is that there's a common
It's like a 200-page notebook.
Sure, man. Why not? What's your problem? Are you trying to tell me that you have a problem with how they separate the Pokédex journal from the cell phone? Like, what's your deal? You got something you want to say about that?
No, I mean I don't. I don't know how they get Pokemon pictures because they don't give you a camera and you never take a picture with your not a cell phone.
Clearly, you
Because
have. It's a sketchbook. You're clearly just sketching the images, but like you're really, really, really good at it.
I guess those are the same picture icons that's been used since X and Y.
One of the things that is commonly said about isekai anime these days is that a lot of the stories that are done in isekai animes is that they can just be regular old fantasy stories and they don't actually need an isekai plot inserted into them. And but the thing is that the concept of isekai overall, the idea of like a human being from Earth being transported into a fantasy world is so popular because it's so relatable to people watching the actual anime that they just forcefully insert it into anime just so that the anime will automatically be successful upon release. So like I love the like I mean I don't necessarily 100% agree with that concept, but I love the idea that because let's face it, Legends Arceus is a spin-off game of Pokemon. And it's normally pretty common for spin-off games to never be quite as popular as the main franchise games. So I love the idea that, Game Freak was like, this is a spin-off game. It's not a main franchise game. We need to do something to promote the numbers to make it more popular. What can we do? Insert an isekai plotline, of course. That's totally relatable. Like just like in the anime world, people will flock to it because it's an isekai plot. Like clearly that's what we need to do to make this game more popular.
Man, you thought way too hard about this.
Oh, I know I did, but like just the idea.
You spent more time. You spent more time talking about this isekai plot than the game actually goes into having an isekai plot.
But the point is that it's just enough of a
you
draw.
get a change of clothes, and it is barely ever mentioned that you're the kid who fell out. You're a kid who fell out of the sky.
But the thing is that that's also like what they do in a lot of like isekai, like thrown together isekai animes. They give you like 5, maybe 10 minutes at the most to explain to the maybe not even 5 minutes. Maybe I'm being too generous with that. They give you just a few minutes of time to be like, oh, by the way, the main character's from Earth and they've been transported into a fantasy world. And then that's the last you ever hear of it. and they do that because supposedly it's more relatable to the audience watching it, and therefore it has more of a higher draw rate for people to want to watch it.
It still gets like the occasional, even in the isekai anime, it occasionally gets like a callback. It's like, remember that you're from Earth?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the character be like, I want to go back home. No, this character, like your character, like he gets pulled away from his home, his family, and everything, and his only concern, and he gets a new change of clothes. He's like, okay, I guess I'm a galaxy thug now.
Family and friends?
Bruh.
I mean, he was running around with a Pokemon League shirt.
Sure.
Probably didn't have a lot of friends.
Here's another interesting idea. The world that the main character comes from in Legends Arceus, is he from a world where Pokemon exist, or is he from like
Unknown.
literally like Earth?
Unknown.
Okay, so it's because Pokemon exist in the world where he's come from.
Unknown.
Okay, so they never show it, huh?
So here's why I say it's unknown. Oh yeah, no, it's not shown. The game starts with you floating through a white void, and then Arceus shows up and is like, "Hey, I'm Arceus.
Bye. Here's a phone. Bye.
I'm gonna go ahead and steal your phone and woobly boobly it. Good luck."
So you don't even get to see where he comes from. Like,
yeah, no, it is unknown. And here's why I say it's unknown. Because you are specifically asked, do you know what Pokemon are? And then you can say yes, and then the game will describe Pokemon to you. As if you said no.
Like, and then if you say no, they go through the same thing again, right?
Basically. So like you're like, yeah, I've seen like I know what Pokemon are. Do you see my shirt? Like I'm obviously a Pokemon champion.
No, I picked this shirt up at the thrift store. I don't even know what it is.
Say, but then, because I mean, there's literally a Pokeball on your shirt. Because it's you know the Pokemon card game, the Pokemon Play League for the card game.
Yeah,
that logo.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like that. There's literally something that looks like a Pokeball that they would probably recognize as a Pokeball, because the Pokeball is this new strange invention apparently to them. That's all the rage. And I've been like, hey, you have a Pokeball on your shirt. Maybe if I give you some Pokeball, you can catch these Pokemon, because I'm shit at catching Pokemon. That's literally the tutorial.
Nice.
It's like my Pokemon escaped me because I'm terrible.
Oh man, I love it. Like I don't know. I feel like I've heard a lot that I actually really love, but it's more of like a love. I love it because of how ridiculous it sounds.
Oh, it's one of the best tutorial sections of a Pokemon game ever. Because it's just so ridiculous. Because it's gotta rush you through this really ridiculous premise, as well as potentially train new players to playing a Pokemon game. So it just assumes everybody's a new player, and it just does some really ridiculous things with it, and it's charming. You know how you typically have like in Pokemon games, if you choose boy, the girl character is your quote unquote adversary?
Sure.
In this game,
do you get to have a harem?
No.
Oh damn! I got all excited because, like, wasn't it which game was it in Pokemon where it's like you had a rival, but you know that she was crushing on you, or he was crushing on you, but then you had like 2 or 3 rivals, and
XY.
One of them was clearly like madly in love with you, and the rest were like indifferent.
XY.
Yeah.
No. You have the professor, and then you have your quote unquote rival, who isn't really a rival. She's more of a coworker who's really shit at her job.
Okay.
Like, she has a Pikachu, but that Pikachu don't listen to her.
Man, Pikachu hasn't been good since Yellow version.
and her explanation is like she had her Pikachu out in a battle, and she got hit with a Shanks' Thunderbolt or something and passed out. and now her partner Pikachu's like, bitch, I ain't listening to you. You suck. I'm like, yeah, I love it.
All right. So the game's pretty good then. I'm glad you're enjoying it, buddy. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I mean, as soon as we get off of here, I'm probably gonna play for a little bit before going to bed.
Man, after all that we've talked about, I got ridiculous Mimi Bidoofs dancing around in my head.
Absolutely. No,
I sh-
the game is a blast.
cool.
So typically Pokemon games, the story takes a backseat to the fight gyms and participate in the Pokemon turn,
Right.
the regional Pokemon tournament.
Right.
The story almost always takes a backseat to that,
Yeah.
and it's a coin, and it's really just random whenever a story is even remarkably remotely interesting enough
Mhm.
to pull even some attention away from the typical Pokemon loop.
I thought I mean, I get the basic idea. I was just going to say, I thought that the Delta DLC for Oraz was a really good story, but,
Okay, well, okay, so Emerald was one of the few Pokemon games that actually had a reasonably decent storyline.
well, the DLC for Oraz for sure. I mean, Emerald was just the original Emerald was just stereotypical Ruby Sapphire storyline, like whatever.
There was
But
still some additional stuff in Emerald.
here and there. I mean, I would almost say that if you're going to make that comparison, Heart Gold and Soul Silver had a decent storyline to it, and they even had like secret unlockable stories in it too. Like if you had certain Pokemon on your team, like if you had Celebi in your
Right, right,
team,
right,
you could unlock a time traveling story, which was cool.
right. No,
Which
no.
was cool.
So there was some
But I
cool
get I
stuff.
get your basic idea is what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
but the general plot of the game was pretty much ignored
Oh, the
because
plot
you
of Arceus.
well no the plot of Pokemon games are typically ignored because you're just basically racing between gyms to get all your badges so you can fight the
Right. Okay.
and you can actually do what the game is about.
Right. Right.
Because lo and behold, the Pokemon games have a very bad habit of not being about their main plot.
Pokemon games have a main plot.
Yeah, so there we go.
Wait
Um,
a minute. I mean, some
like
of them are
like
okay. I
it
get
got
it.
so bad. It got so bad that in Pokemon's Pokemon Sword and Shield,
Yeah.
like the main plot happened
Without you.
with like outside of the camera, whatever, like just to a screen away from wherever you were at. That's where the
Yeah.
plot happened. And you'd walk into it, and then Hop would come in, your quote unquote rival Hop would come
Yeah.
into you and explain to you all this cool shit that you really wish you could have seen.
Yeah. I watched a review a while ago of Sword and Shield, and he said a lot of the same things. Like one of my favorites that he mentioned and showed on the screen that you've never told me about, but I mean, it sounds like it's something that's easy to forget, so I'd understand. Was he basically was saying how it's very clear that the game had was probably rushed, probably for a holiday release, which is very common for Pokemon games,
Yeah.
and they made budget cuts. And he said one of his favorites that was absolutely unnecessarily ridiculous was there's a scene where like somebody wants to get into a locked door that has like a security pad. And so they're like, I'm going to
Yeah.
use my Pokemon to use an electrical shock on the security pad to open up the door.
And
And
it
then
fades to black. It
the
fades.
screen fades to black and then comes back and then the door's
Doors
open.
open. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so bad.
That's the level of storytelling in Sword and Shield.
It's
No,
so bad.
so I haven't experienced a lot of this game's plot.
Yeah.
But the thing is this game doesn't have badges, doesn't have gyms, doesn't have all that stuff.
Hmm.
So you have whatever the game's storyline and the storyline missions, which I haven't gone through a lot of. I just not recently beat the first quote unquote boss.
Right.
What I've been doing is the completing your Pokedex, because this Pokedex is a completionist wet dream.
That's pretty cool.
Because it's not just gotta catch them all, it's gotta catch them all, gotta fight them all, gotta watch them piddle, Gotta feed them food. Gotta feed them all.
Pokemon voyeur.
Gotta beat them all in a certain way.
Gotta creep on them all.
Some Pokemon do have a task where you have to beat where you have to stealth catch them.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the so it's like whenever I played a Pokemon game,
Yeah.
my goal, my goal was always beat the gym stuff and then maybe try to fill out the Pokedex, but it involved trade Pokemons and I really hated that. There's some just very rare spawn Pokemon, and I didn't feel like driving around in a circle for 30 minutes to get a 2%er to effing show up on the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I gave I gave up on that game like less than a year after it was released. So I know what you mean.
And then shiny hunting. That was a
No.
that has always been that has up until now been just the hugest nope.
Yeah.
But shinies, I already have like 5 or 6, and I haven't really even been trying. So like shinies have either been the odds have been greatly reduced,
Yeah.
or there's something in the game system where shinies just show up more often.
Well, so I think it was ever since Generation 4. I
Mhm.
think it was starting in Generation 4, which was Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and then Heart, Gold, Soul, Silver. They keep, like, with each generation, starting with Generation 4, they keep increasing um, how common shinies can appear. And usually it's not necessarily like, I mean, some of the times they just straight up change the numbers, like the percentages, but they also kept adding more and more mechanics that make shinies like more likely to appear. Like, they're like, oh, like first you have the Masuda method, then you have like, the shiny charm method, and then you have the Pal Park method, and then you have the what is it, the one where multiple Pokemon show up method, and then you have the sweet scent method, and then you have this method and that method, and it's like they keep adding things to make shinies more and more common, and most of them stack too. So it's like, oh well, you can use this method alongside of this method, like the shiny charm
Yeah,
plus the
shiny
sweet
charm.
scent plus the raid fight, like
Like in Sword and Shield, the big thing was Masuda method plus shiny charm, and the shiny charm was actually kind of really easy to get in Sword and Shield.
yeah,
Not gonna lie.
it's just that like they're getting to a point where it's just not going to be.
They've never been this easy.
Yeah, yeah, they probably.
After all the stacks,
Yeah,
after all the methods in Arceus stack,
yeah,
you have rates of 1 in every 512.
yeah. That's so easy.
Yeah,
That's so
that's
easy.
like I remember like having like
1 in 8,000.
yeah,
Like,
no, I remember being impressed with Sword and Shield's 1 in 2024.
yeah. Um. What it? You know what? Here's an interesting question. What is the first shiny you ever caught? Do you remember?
So the answer to your question about my first ever shiny. Now, granted, I didn't play X and Y all the way to completion,
Okay.
and I played even less of Sun and Moon.
All right.
And I don't recall playing Black and White.
That's okay. I like
Oh,
black and white, but that's all good.
so my first ever shiny was a RNG manipulated Gigantamax and Corviknight in Sword
That's
and Shield.
interesting.
Somebody RNG manipulated a raid den, and
Oh, so it was kind of like cheated in then.
yeah, it was a hacked, well, illegally hacked. So that's my first one. The first one I legitimately legitimately caught outright, just like running around. Oh hey, this is a shiny.
Hmm.
Uh, I believe I got a just random shiny Eevee.
Oh, that's cool. Which game was
Also,
that you said?
also in Sword and Shield.
Oh, okay. Yeah, shiny Eevees are like, oof. That's like a big deal. That's pretty cool, man.
I bred a shiny Litten.
Right, the starter from Sun and Moon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It ended like all my shinies were are in Sword and Shield.
Okay. Gotcha. So you'd never like caught like or seen shinies from like earlier games before that?
No, like
Oh.
because I never wanted to put that much of a grind in.
Right.
So I'd be like, okay, I've just completed my Pokedex in this game. All right, I'm done. Or like I completed all my Pokedex except for games that require trade evolution and f that.
Right.
Oh, another thing about Arceus that's really wonderful.
Yeah. Is it shiny related or just kind of going into the next thing?
Pokemon that require trade evolutions
Uh-huh.
can evolve from can item evolve.
Oh.
There is a item called a link cable
Oh no. Of course there is.
in the game where if the Pokemon has a trade evolution, you can just feed it a link cable and it's like, okay, I evolved now.
What do you think is the likelihood that they're going to implement that as a feature in like a normal game? Do you think that's at all a possibility?
No, no.
Okay.
Uh, the Pokemon Company loves multiplayer too much.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so this
because that's
game,
what allows them to like sell multiple copies of the same game at the same time.
right?
You gotta have two different versions so that you can get all the trade evolutions.
Yeah, you gotta. Well, you gotta have them friends too.
Yep. No, you don't. What are you talking about? You mean you never bought both of the games at the same time so that you could trade between yourself?
You have to be both games have to be running simultaneously. So unless you have two systems,
Uh, yeah, you have two Game Boys or two Game Boy Advances.
okay, Richie Rich.
um,
Speaking of which, I've been thinking about buying a DS Lite on eBay
yeah.
because they're actually still reasonably priced.
Hmm.
Unlike a game like unlike the Game Boy Advanced SP, like
Yeah.
if you get like a DS Lite,
Hmm.
they're still reasonably priced. Like the 3DSs are still kind of expensive, but
Yeah.
I was thinking about getting a DS Lite because I can get an R4 pack
Uh huh.
and emulate things like ORS or well not ORS because it's just a DS Lite.
Probably like the original like DS Lite. So DS Lites, I can't remember.
Black White
Yeah.
was the last one to come out on the DS before the 3DS.
Despite the heavy criticism, I thought Black and White were great games. I thought they were really good.
Black and White had some of the best Pokemon stories. Their Pokedex is like Black and White was the start of the Pokemon Company running out of Pokemon ideas.
Well, so what was really, I mean, I've heard that and I kind of disagree with it, but I get what you're saying. But one of the things that I thought was really impressive about Black and White that a lot of people didn't appreciate is Black and White, when they set out to design that game, they basically said what we want to do is we want to completely recreate a game designed to emulate Red and Blue, but still be a brand new game outside of Red and Blue. So like there were a lot of people who were angry that you couldn't get like all the Pokemon from like other versions and stuff like that. Um like in the normal game in the very until you get like the international decks, which is way near the end of the game. But the thing is that made that so interesting is because Black and White was one of the few Pokemon games where they did a full roster of 150 brand spanking new monsters
And half
150 brand new monsters.
Yeah, and you want to know what lesson they learned?
Oh, that it's impossible to,
Don't do that.
program. Yeah, don't do that
Don't
again.
don't do
Exactly.
that. The lesson they learned
Yeah.
was, yeah, no, let's not do that again.
Yeah. Well,
because
because
because it was 150 new monsters and
yeah.
like 80 of them sucked. Like 80 of them were just designed poorly.
Yeah, but I just liked the black. One of the things that I really liked about Black and White that I feel like it doesn't get enough credit for. It was really ambitious, and
Oh,
for the most part, it came out right. Like like they put a lot of work into that game, and it really shows when you play
I mean,
it.
yeah, except for the mons, which is
Well, I mean,
which is
but
half of the reason. Like half the reason people play a Pokemon game is for the new mons, and then they're like all new mons. Which, granted, if you're playing a game for the mons, that's a great selling point. Like 150 new mons,
would you
and then
play with all 150 of the original red and blue and yellow monsters? Like how many of the original 150 are shit tier that you would never touch?
okay,
Like
of the original 150,
yeah.
like yeah, every game has trash mons.
Yeah.
But the thing is like trash mons in gameplay are different than trash mons in design. Because they had to design 150 new ones, they ended up with like half of them being trash designs on top of being trash gameplay mons.
Cuz Mr. Mime and Jinx aren't nightmare fuel.
Okay, those still look cool.
All
Like
right.
like like
I'll admit I actually have a soft spot for Jinx, but
I mean those Pokemon look cool. Like Mr. Mime Jr. That those Pokemon at the very, I mean, sure, they're nightmare fuel, but at least they're not like boring designs.
well, what do you consider a boring design? Like because here's the thing that I get really upset about when people talk about how lazy the designs are. Like, oh well, like Vanillux is just ice cream, and it's like, yeah, but Electrode is a ball and Magnemite is a magnet.
Yeah, but the problem is like every game has two of those lazy designs because let's face it, they only had to, if they're only designing 20 new mons, two of them being quote unquote lazy designs, that's fine. When you have to design 150, you're gonna end up with like 40 lazy designs because that's what happened.
I see because I just don't see them as lazy designs. Like I think they're fine. They were fine. Like Klefki is just keys. I still like it. Like I don't think it's a lazy design. I think Klefki is adorable and it's interesting. I like Vanillite and Vanillux. Like I don't care if they look like ice creams, but like I think they're pretty cool. Like I think they're interesting, and it's like, well, like you have like the monster that looks like a cake, and it's like that's cool. Like Chandelure is a chandelier. Like I don't really have like problems with that stuff. I think they're interesting. I think that it's
Like
creative that there are monsters that
there's some of
are
the
like
worst
real life objects.
there's some of that. I mean, I guess that's to each their own. But as far as starters go, I think Unova starters were the worst. Like
In
Tepig,
Black and White.
yeah, the black white starters are easily the worst.
Tepig is
Tepig,
adorable.
Tepig is yet another Tepig is yet another Torchic clone.
Well, but now you're going right against what you just said a minute ago, which is you were like game mechanics are different from how they appear.
Oh no, I mean like, okay, so he's cute and adorable, but it's at the end of the day, it's a pig with a wrestling mask on.
But I still don't have a problem with that. Like, see, here's the thing: you're talking to a person that adores Garbodor. I love Garbodor. I will fight anybody about it. I think Trubbish and Garbodor are freaking amazing. I love how they play. They're actually really strong to use. And I freaking love their designs. Okay. I don't care. I love the fact that Garbodor is a gigantic animated monstrous pile of trash. I love the fact that he's brown and gooey and pink and blue and dark olive green with a gasoline spout coming out of one arm, and he's got the weird derpy face with the sharp razor teeth. I love Garbodor, man. I love that Pokemon. I love him in playstyle and I love him in design, and anybody can fight me about that any freaking day. I heard you sigh just now. I heard that.
Yeah, no, that was a very audible sigh. I was hoping you knew it.
I love Garbodor, man.
I mean, I get it, but I'm just for me, like Clang and Cling, like that, like there's a lot of like
I also
Black
like
and White
Cling too.
Okay,
it's not my favorite, but I like it.
But here's the thing: Black and White wasn't the start of when Pokemon used everyday objects as Pokemon.
That's correct. Red, blue, and yellow were the start of when that happened.
Right. The problem is it felt like because they were married to this whole idea of, you know, gotta design a whole new Pokedex.
Mm-hmm.
That they kind of like they kind of like did the whole magic thing where you have cards that are functionally the same and kind of look the same but have different names.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because like back when they were doing core sets and they were like core sets are not, you know, remake. There's no reprints in the core. Like they're trying to make core sets like real sets.
Mm-hmm.
With no no reprint set, like the one or two core sets that had that, and then they realized they just don't have the design bandwidth to do that.
Mm-hmm.
What they would end up doing is they would end up taking like the 1/1 green mana elf. Like they would take the 1/1 green mana elf that's always been known as Llanowar Elves, call it Arbor Elves.
Isn't Arbor Elves Untapped Forest?
Okay, whatever. Same. At the end of the day, it's the same deal. At the end of the day, it's 95% of the time the same deal.
I mean,
okay.
I mean, Llanowar Elves, orange, sure.
Llanowar Elves and Findorn Elves.
All right, fine. I get it.
Llanowar Elves and Findorn Elves. Just because they didn't want to say, hey, you know, we're still on Dominaria here, sure, but we're in a different part of Dominaria, so we have to name our 1/1 mana elf something different.
Right. All right. Well, I mean,
so that's what the Unova Dex to me is. There's a lot of you know, vanilla usage here.
Did you ever watch that video that I posted in the Discord about how Pokemon is a logistical nightmare?
Yeah, no, I saw that.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with it. Like,
I do too. As much as I love 150 brand new spanking Pokemon in black and white, it literally just added more layers to the problem that they already have. So, I mean, I get that. But that doesn't mean that I don't love them.
Okay. And so there was the controversy where there was no national dex in Sword and Shield.
Yeah. And I know that was a big deal.
Yeah, that wasn't a big deal. And I was on the side of, it's like, you honestly knew this was coming, right?
It's Pokemon officially is at the point where they have way too many monsters and they don't have the capability of being able to implement every necessary feature needed to properly utilize every single monster that they have created. That's the basic premise of the logistical nightmare that Pokemon is. It's constantly expanding and it's way too gigantic for them to have any real control over it anymore.
It's unreasonable to expect that and for the game to fit on something like a Switch game card.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Game Freak still did the dumb and reused animation and assets from all the way back in XY, but you know,
um, and by the way, I just want to go ahead and give a proper shout out for anybody who wants to know. If you're curious, go and look up a video called "How Pokemon Became a Logistical Nightmare of Design" by a YouTube channel called Foxcade. It's very interesting. He goes over all of the logistical and business facts about why Pokemon is literally a video game nightmare. And if you're in the Discord, you can also find it in the game chat section of my Discord if you're curious about it. So it's
so yeah.
very good and it's very interesting. So
Every game from here on out will be a a mixed match of existing Pokemon, including Pikachu and Eevee, because they would rather die than have a Pokemon game that doesn't have Pikachu and Eevee in it. Is it just me, or has Pikachu and Eevee become like easier to catch as time gone on?
Well, yeah, so like, yeah, because Eevee was originally supposed to be an extremely rare Pokemon. Like, I mean, if I remember correctly, in Red and Blue, there's only two in the entire game. You get one from Bill, and then I think you can get another one from, I think there's like a place in Celadon City that gives you another Eevee. So I think you can only get two in the original Red and Blue, and you can't find them anywhere.
Right.
And then I think in the other games the idea was that you could only get one or maybe two at the most. um I don't know if there's
Okay.
ever been a game where they're out in the wild. I can't recall if that's ever been a thing or not.
Uh, EVs are out in the wild in Sword and Shield, and they're literally a starting mob rare drop, a starting a not even a starting area, the tutorial area
Hmm.
rare mob drop. You could farm 12 EVs before even leaving the tutorial if you truly felt like it.
Yeah, my theory is that that would probably be something that was created by Let's Go Eevee. Like, it was like, oh, this is the starting monster, and people wanted to see something more like that, and they were like, well,
Well,
Eevee's
no,
just.
I mean if you had to pick, I mean it's kind of understandable if you had to pick two faces of Pokemon even before the Let's Go game. It was Pikachu and Eevee.
Should have been Clefairy, man. I'm telling you.
But
How different of a world would we be in if the main Pokemon mascot ended up being Clefairy? That would have
but
been really
I
interesting.
remember but I remember Red and Blue, Pikachu being like a like a mid game route Pokemon, like rare drop.
Yeah, you could only catch in the original Red and Blue games. You could only catch Pikachu in Viridian Forest. That was it. That was the only place you could
Yeah.
catch it, and it was also very rare. It had a very low percentage of being found in Viridian Forest.
In Sun and Shield, Pichu was a medium drop in the tutorial area.
Sure, I think Pichus were also in the wild in Sun and Moon, if I remember correctly.
Oh, that's what I meant. In Sun and Moon. In Sun
Oh,
and
okay.
Moon, Pichu's were like in the first area wild.
Yeah.
They were an uncommon drop. They weren't even a rare drop.
Yeah.
Um, their common is Snot. They're just outside of the tutorial area in
Mhm.
Arceus.
Yeah.
So now it seems like Pokemon games not only are will they never not give you have Pikachu and Eevee in them, but it seems like they trip over themselves to give them to you.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, if you think about it, like, they probably got tired of, you know, the Pikachu family being not relevant in the game. So that's why they added, like, the Alolan Raichu or whatever. Because they were like, well, listen,
Well,
like, he's a mascot. Like, let's try and give him a little bit more love in the meta.
eh, I don't think they care too much about. Oh, I can almost guarantee 1%. They don't care. They don't care at all about competitive, because if they did, they'd do a much better job balancing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like that was the low in Raichu was, this was the first time that we were doing regional forms.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Heaven forbid somebody out of the Pikachu line doesn't get a low in form.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want to give it. They don't want a low
Do
in
you mean
Pikachu.
Hisuian?
No, I'm talking about Sun. I'm talking about
Oh,
Sun
you
and
were
Moon
talking
here.
about Sun and Moon. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
talk about Sun and Moon here. Like, heaven forbid that we give. We don't have somebody out of that line having a low in form, but we can't do it to Pikachu because we can't change how Pikachu looks.
Yeah, he's the face of the entire franchise. Like I felt like
Not
that was
just not
obvious.
just the face, not just the face, but the stance. They haven't gotten Pikachu out of that one little dopey stance since X and Y.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't. They have changed absolutely nothing about his animations. He's been in that little like arms to the front, kind of dopey gaze, tail up and off to the side, like that same pose since X and Y.
You know what?
Some other Pokemon have had slight model shifts. Pikachu has not.
My favorite Pikachu will always be the fat mouse from the original Pokemon card game set. Have you ever seen that picture? The chubby fat little mouse that he is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And he's kind of got like a purple tint to him, which is really weird, but it's I don't know. Like cuz like for example, the original Pikachu card from the base set is apparently worth a ton of money. But it's literally, if I remember correctly, a large amount of the fact that it's worth a lot is because it is the most vastly, uniquely different looking Pikachu that's ever been made. It looks so weird compared to like every other Pikachu you've ever seen. But obviously, that art was done at a time where Pokemon was not this humongous, gigantic, world phenomenon. Where he's like the face of everything.
No, that's not
Um,
true. The card game didn't come out until like well after uh uh uh, Gold and Silver.
well, I mean, no, that's not true. I know for a fact that's not true because I definitely collected Pokemon cards way before Gold and Silver was even announced.
I thought the card game came out after Gold and Silver.
The card game came out in 1995, if I remember correctly, which was just a little bit after the Japanese games were released, and then I think Red and Blue were released in America in 1996.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I collected Pokemon cards when I was a kid. Like in 1995 and 1996, I was collecting Pokemon cards.
I didn't
Like
remember
I
the
was,
Pokemon cards coming. I didn't remember the Pokemon cards coming out till college, and I thought that was 98,
no, it was
99.
definitely like 95.
Okay, well then I might have been wrong there.
Yeah, I
But
can I can double
but
check
again,
if I could be
that
wrong.
card game was made by Wizards of the Coast, and we obviously know how much they'll
Bruh.
ever give.
Well, I mean, but also, I mean, let's be nice here. Wizards of the Coast was different in 1995.
Yeah, but still,
Yes, they were different in
yeah,
1995. They
sure,
were
but
literally a different company.
yeah, but I mean, there's a reason why they lost their Pokemon license too.
Well, if I remember correctly, it was because Nintendo, or not even Nintendo,
Pokemon
it was
Company.
the Pokemon Company wanted to take it out of their hands before it got out of control.
Yeah, before Wizards trashed their image.
I don't. Oh, okay. So I was off by 1 year. The Pokemon card game was released in 1996, October 20th. So I was off by 1 year.
Okay,
Um,
that's fair.
yeah. But yeah, I definitely collected the cards when I was a kid. That was a big freaking deal for me. But yeah, I definitely remember that there was a big thing going on because I think that when Wizards of the Coast was printing Pokemon cards, that was a little bit before the Pokemon Company existed. And then when the Pokemon Company came into existence, it was because they were specifically designed to manage the extreme amount of intense, like because by that point, when they finally established the Pokemon Company, all the merchandise was already a thing. And they were like, this is so much bigger than we expected it to be. We have to build a brand new company to manage it all. And then when they established that company, the thing is they were like, okay, well, one of the first major things we have to do is we need to make sure that we gain ownership and production of all,
Oh, yeah.
all the Pokemon, merchandise that is not directly involved with the games themselves. So that's when they bought the license and all that stuff from Wizards of the Coast. And they were like, no, no, no. Like, and they had the money to throw around already right off the bat to even be able to pull that off.
Well, the
So,
thing is they didn't take back everything immediately. But the
right.
card game was one of the ones, and that was because of Wizards was it's and part of it was because of Wizards was mishandling organized play and kind of the really weird some of the weird artwork discrepancies that Creatures Incorporated didn't really approve of.
Mm. Well, I don't remember that particular part of it, but you might be right. I mean, I could probably, if I really wanted to get into it, I could probably do some personal research at some
Yeah,
point and look
I
into it.
mean
But
it's pretty. I mean it looks from a
because
from like a 3,000 mile uh viewpoint from space. It looks like what Creatures Inc. and the Pokemon Company did was just basically recall, like either did not renew or recalled uh licensing rights from basically everybody but the anime at first. And
hmm
then even then took the anime back like a couple years after the fact.
yeah, it's possible. I don't actually know that deep into the company. Like, it was actually really interesting. Like, I brought up that video earlier about the Pokemon being a logistical nightmare, and they actually do for a little bit talk about um, the Pokemon Company's involvement in all of that because of it was even at that time it was a logistical nightmare. There was too much to handle because 150 different kinds of every type of merchandise that they could possibly sell. Like, imagine being like, okay, we're going to make a stuffed animal for this, for this franchise. Well, we have to make 150 different kinds and we have to manage every single one of them. Well, what about, the plastic toys? Well, we got to make 150 of those as well. Like, they just keep on doing that with every single one. Like, it's madness. So that video does talk about that a little bit too, which
Oh,
is
right.
really
That's why they
interesting.
chose not to do 150.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like, how many Ekans toys do you really see floating around the wild?
I actually know a YouTuber that I follow on a regular basis who has actually gone out of his way to collect every single stuffed animal version of every single Pokemon in existence. And let me tell you, they all exist and they all have stuffed animals. like,
How many
like
of them are official?
you want a Garbodor plushie? Let me tell you, buddy, I know it exists because I know I've seen the YouTuber who has it.
Like,
like,
yeah, but how many of them are official?
they're probably all. I mean, actually, I don't know. That is legitimately not something I know. They could be knockoffs, and I wouldn't know any better.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's. I mean, one of the ways you solve that, one of the ways you solve the logistics issue, and we've gotten well into the weeds here, um, is that you were like, well, yeah, but we don't have to sell 150 of each toy. We need to sell, like, if we're supporting the game, we need we need
pick
like
the
the marquee,
popular ones, probably.
the popular one.
Yeah,
Well, you've got the box legendaries, which probably need representation. The starters, like if anybody has a shirt, it's a starter shirt.
sure.
Um,
Hell, I have a starter Pokemon shirt.
yeah,
I
like
do. I do.
like so yeah, that's it's like the whatever this generation starters are, that's something to concentrate on. Then you've got Pikachu, then you've got Eevee. Uh, if there's a movie coming out, does the movie focus on a non Pikachu, non Eevee Pokemon? Yeah, well then that's one of the other ones you can concentrate on.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I do get it. Like, yeah, they probably don't have to, but I always feel like that they at least try. Like, it seems like they
yeah,
probably
I mean
do, to the
I
best of their
mean
capabilities, which is once again why it's such a logistical nightmare.
they could get yeah, they could get away. They could probably get away with 20, but they probably easily do 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I'm also saying they're all, the way that they solve the logistical nightmare is realize they're not doing 150.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing is because, like, there's a lot of sides of the company that can probably get away with that, but then there's sides of that company that can't get away with that. Like I said, like the video games, like it's very difficult when you have 800 monsters and everybody expects you to have all 800 of those monsters, all their animations, all of their attacks, all of their abilities, like, do they follow the player? Well, that's, 800 different character models you're going to have to design and animate to be able to follow behind the player character, like, or are they walking around in the wild? Well, you better make sure that you're prepared for that as well. Like, it's wild.
I mean, the thing is that they've had that in place pretty much since X and Y.
Yeah.
Oh, and they've also been reusing the problem with that is they've also been reusing assets since X and Y.
Yeah.
They haven't done the refresh like they said they were going to.
Yeah, but I mean, also, like, another thing that I think is really gross, that they have to stop. Okay. Like, Game Freak needs to stop doing this. I'm freaking tired of it. It's one of the main reasons why I'm done with Pokemon. Stop meeting bullshit, holiday deadlines. They're impossible. These games are way too big for you to keep doing this. We're not dealing with Game Boy Advance graphics anymore, okay? They're not all pixelated, okay? Realize what kind of intense amount of work you have to do and make a realistic goddamn schedule for your game. Stop with these bullshit holiday deadlines, okay? I'm
They're
tired
not.
of it.
They're not bullshit. They're not bullshit. These games aren't that difficult, man.
I I think that they like legitimately just need to give themselves more time. I really do. Because otherwise, they're just, I mean, unless you really think that they're just mailing it in, like you're saying they're not that difficult, do you really think that Game Freak is mailing it in?
Why not? Do you want to pull up the sales for Sword and you want to pull up the sales for Sword and Shield and see how much money they made mailing it in on a very obvious mail in? Like
Ugh.
this was the Sword and Shield was one of the first times where the entire community got to see the game before it was released and said, "Hey, this looks like a mail in."
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the sales for Sword and Shield.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is that, like, I mean, I don't buy the games anymore. I'm not interested in buying new Pokemon games anymore. And like, as I just now sat here and thought about it, I'm like, it's just Wizards of the Coast again, isn't it? Right?
Yeah,
They're too big to fail,
well,
and
well,
they can shit all over a plate and somebody will buy it, right?
yeah, well, I mean, they're the only ones making Pokemon. So
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? I think we should probably wrap this one up. You know what? I do want to end it on this. I am genuinely glad that you're enjoying the Legends Arceus game. It actually sounds really fun from how you described it.
oh yeah,
Even
no,
though
it's.
yeah.
I mean, I've never had so much fun flipping balls at people.
Well, it sounds like that it definitely has some flaws, but it sounds like the majority of it is really fun sounding. Like it sounds like it's a good
Well,
time.
I mean,
So
the flaws is that it's a Pokemon game. Like it's still got to live. It's still got to live in the Pokemon universe. It's still got to do the Pokemon things to make it feel like a Pokemon game.
but it was fun talking about it. I guess we did like our part 2 on Pokemon, I guess.
Yeah,
So that was the thing.
Legend Arceus. It's a good game. If you have a Switch, you should probably already be playing it.
Sure. So I'm going to go ahead and say all the normal things, which is first of all, thanks for everybody. I know this one's probably going to be a big long one.
That's
So
what she said.
yeah,
Heyo.
and I'm sure that
Except for my girlfriend, she never says that.
So thank you guys all for being here and listening to us spiel about Pokemon once again. And go ahead and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Maybe smash that like button. Maybe hit that ring a ding a bell down there if you haven't done that already. Possibly leave a comment. I greatly appreciate that as well. More interactivity is wonderful. And check in the description below for all the wonderful links such as PayPal and Streamlabs. All donations are greatly appreciated. And I'd like to give a wonderful shout out to my amazing Patreon members, which include Bo Falcon, Fajuk Enterprises, James P, the lovely Miss Rebecca, as well as Scorpigeist. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for your regular donations. Super duper awesome. And other than that, I believe that we have been the Imaginary Boys. So, good night, everyone.
Nice.
Bye.